Come out to the bar.
Hello YouTube, cheers and welcome to the basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
There's a little delayed response there. You alright?
This guy's a comedian.
Hey, listen, the basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, Basement family, and we do mean family because this today is a family show. The Basement family, that is. Today, we're dedicating this entire show to responding to the comments we got on show number 187, Eminem versus the NRA. We got so many different points of views from our awesome fans. We think this topic is important enough to just spend the time to give it a real debate and respond to you live on the air. And this is how we doing it. So today's question, the basement, that's Bruce Lively and D-Boy Slim, responds to fans about guns. With that being said, let go. We got a big time response from our fans. We got to shout out everybody, and we're gonna get you by name. Let's start with Bloods, Crips, and SA, because I want to.
My man, Blood, Crips, and SA, always tuning in. We appreciate it too.
All right, I'm gonna read it. This is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna read your full response. We're gonna try to take notes and get everything we can, and then respond to it. Eminem against the NRA? ? Eminem being used like a puppet, LOL. Then he says, I'm sure you know why the Second Amendment was established, and it wasn't because of the people being afraid of people. A military issue AR-15 is dope, bro. It has a laser sight when you grip the barrel. Dope. But why would somebody need that type of weapon? A pistol should be enough for a grown man to protect his own. Automatic rifles, I agree with that. Automatic rifles are not for protection. They are for killing a bunch of people, bro. I believe the government pushed those weapons to help us kill each other faster, you dig? But we need pistols to protect our neighbors and family. They can have guns, but we only have civil disobedience. How you trying to be funny about my statement? We'll get to that. I like the Outkast clip. That was about the statement that I did. But you forgot Big Boy said about the end of days, the sky is falling, ain't nobody balling. They done gave back their guns for some tickets to the playoffs, but the Hornets, they won. Nigga, we slum. Kept all the guns. Gotta protect my family. Okay, it's a good quote. Ban the automatic rifle and shotgun maybe, bro. But hand cannons are needed for the same reason they were needed in the Constitution. We have to be able to stop an evil force trying to overtake our people. What do you have to say, man, about his whole thing?
I've heard that a lot, and that seems to be a popular consensus as far as banning automatic rifles. I have mixed emotions about that when it comes to that. Only because I feel like if you ban them legally, seems like you create a black market because they'll be on the streets. Certain people will still have access to them, and then there'll be a question of how come so many of these are getting into the wrong hands. Plus, the people who are still permitted or have access to use those because let's be honest, you know, the government officials and certain parts of law enforcement will still be privy and still, you know, have access to these weapons. And a lot of what's going on is not just civilians killing other innocent civilians, but it's been a lot of, you know, if we've forgotten, a lot of law enforcement.
Very true.
Has killed a lot of innocent people.
Very true.
And so, I I'll let Bruce elaborate, but right now I'm still, like I said, it's still kind of, I don't want to sound wishy-washy or anything like that, but I don't really have a concrete answer nor solution for that. But I do, like I said, I do understand and respect that point of view and that perspective of wanting to get the AR, anything, automatic rifles out of the wrong people's hands, and I do understand that
bump stocks,
that consensus.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this, bro. This is why we did this show, because I got a lot to say. Number one, Bloods, Crips, and Essays. Thank you. Salute to you. I have a problem with the way you formed the question or the way you formed your statement, because it seems like you're arguing two different points. One point is automatic rifles are not for protection, they're for killing a bunch of people. But the other point is, I believe the government pushed those weapons to help us kill each other faster. That is objectively not true. The people who push those guns are the NRA.
That's a fact.
The government actually had outlawed automatic and semi-automatic weapons since Reagan. They were outlawed. Now, the problem is
give us some numbers on that too.
Okay, well, I said this before. I said this before. Since 1990s.
Okay.
Since the 1990s, really since the 60s, but the graphs that I put up, and I'll put them up again right now. Since the 1990s, crime has gone down enormously, even till today. One of the reasons why is because the ban of automatic weapons and semi-automatic weapons that happened in the 80s. There were no more mass shootings. In all of that time, there were a few conflicts with the FBI. There's David Koresh that happened.
And this is around early 80s, the cocaine war.
And yeah, this is late 80s when it actually was a law. Early 80s when it was being talked about and thought about because of the cocaine wars that they brought in, let's be honest. So I want to get to the point of the two different sides of your argument, Bloods, Crips, and Essays. It was an outstanding statement. Number one, yeah, we don't need automatic rifles for protection. We can only use pistols. I'm down with that, 100%. But if you think that the government is pushed those weapons, that's not the case. That is called defeatist attitude, and that'll be what I talk about for the rest of this show. The defeatist in us, because we've been so downtrodden, because we've been so compromised, because we've been so conspired against, we believe that everything is a conspiracy. The government is a conspiracy. We can't stop, we can't help it.
Thanks.
And once you have that, once you have that idea, you stop trying. Bloods, Crips, and Essays, you have the right idea. We don't need automatic weapons. And there was a point when people were intelligent enough to fight and get the laws to get rid of them. It's not the government's fault that it's back again. It's the NRA's fault. They campaigned, gave money to, and they argued for every single day since that for it to become law or to take it out of the law. You're right. We don't need AR-15. Someone else is going to say something different, and we're going to get to that. But Bloods, Crips, and Essays, I say to you, stop thinking that the government has some conspiracy or elaborate conspiracy against you for things that we know who the culprits are. Name the culprits. The NRA has put more money into backing the the laws that take care of.
And let me say this:
about.
You're not all the way off with that.
And you're not.
He's just, if I could speak for Bruce, but I think Bruce is just making a distinction. But let's be crystal clear about these. The NRA and our government are in bed together. So it's not, when you say that, you're not far-fetched in saying that, but I do agree with Bruce, and everything is not a conspiracy, or as you may think, like, oh, it's a hidden agenda or whatever, Some things are just really what it is, and it's money behind this. The NRA, let's be clear about what this is. The NRA has interest. They stand to keep their business flowing by having certain policies and certain laws in place. So that's just what it is. And yes, so when you say the government, Bruce is making the distinction that it's actually the NRA's in their best interest, but the NRA and the government are in bed together. They're married.
Well, how that works is the NRA pays people to get into the government. That means that you can vote them out. It's not the government. It's not quote unquote the government, some outlying entity that we can't control. We have the power, just like they had the power to buy them off, we have the power to vote them out. And if we don't let that side be told, people will always think that there's nothing you can do. And that's my thing is, if you think that way, you will end up that way. And that's how they'd rather you believe. They'd rather you in a corner saying there's nothing we can do hopeless while they make their money, because they wouldn't spend the type of money that they do if they thought that you couldn't win. Let's be honest. It's the bottom line. Why do they spend that type of... We're going to go into there. Next one. King Ice. I think you might enjoy this. This kind of was on your point. King Ice says, fighting the NRA on gun sales or raising the age limit to buy guns will not stop or change gun violence. Passing gun laws to stop certain people from being able to buy them is not going to stop it in no type of way, because it always is a crackhead or another fool that's gonna buy them for their dumbass and for their friends' dumbass, and plus the black market street sales.
That is something like what I just said.
Right. But what will slow it down and stop it is the change of gun sentencing laws that have to make the sentence so harsh for having an illegal firearm and for committing a crime with a gun that it puts so much fear in them that they start back picking up sticks and pipes. Plus, make a few examples out of a few non-believers to show they ain't playing. Now that will stop it. Go ahead.
The sticks and pipes is a little far-fetched and unrealistic, but I like that, and I understand your point wholeheartedly. I think New York City was maybe after the Mayor Giuliani. I think once he became the mayor of New York several years ago, he implemented this no tolerance in guns in New York City, and which is why New York City carries the gun laws the way they do, in which, because gun problem obviously in the 80s and the early 90s in New York was wild and crazy. You know what I mean? They implemented this no tolerance for guns, and I think it worked. Honestly speaking, New York obviously is the biggest city. There's still crime that goes on or whatever the case. We could debate that for days on why and what.
But gun violence has gone down.
But gun violence has gone down considerably than what it once was in the 80s and 90s in New York City, and that's a fact. And that's direct because of the gun laws, I think, that Giuliani may have implemented, and he was tough on them. A lot of people, first offense and getting caught with guns, you're gone. You're out of here. Like, you're going to Rikers Island, and that's that. Like, you're going to do some hard time. There's no slap on the wrist. None of that going on. So I agree with that concept of, being stiffer.
Making the laws harsher.
Stiffer with the sentences and as far as guns are concerned. That does have a deterrent. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Deterrent. Yeah.
It is.
That does have a deterrent.
Acts as a deterrent.
Yeah.
So the idea now, King Ice, I'm gonna get on you. You guys know I love you. You guys know what this is. That's why we have these debates. King Ice, you're right about making the laws stiffer, or the sentencing stiffer. I completely disagree with everything else you said, because in order to make the sentencing stiffer means you have to change the gun laws. You can't not change gun laws and make sentencing stiffer. You're not sentencing anything. What Giuliani did was change the gun laws. You can't have an AR-15. You can't have this gun or that gun. And if you get caught with it, the sentencing is stiffer. They're not mutually exclusive, King Ice. You need one before you have the other. And so I'm just gonna talk about exactly what you said right here. Some crackhead or another fool that's gonna buy them for their friend, plus the black market sales. Let's talk about that. The idea of making gun laws won't make gun violence go down. is a talking point directly from the NRA that paid money to the Republican Party. Allow me to tell you why gun manufacturers spend millions on keeping the NRA existing so they can continue to feed these talking points. Because they know that without the constant barrage of anti-factual rhetoric built on tugging at every gun owner's emotional strings, which we know we are because we live in a community that we need guns to protect ourselves. So that's why this is even an issue on this channel, because I know the people that we're talking to. You want your guns, and I hear you. But the truth is, if they didn't do that, they would lose the NRA the entire fight. Less guns would be sold. Less people would worship guns. And as a result, they would make less money. That's why it's worth it to them to spend millions of dollars on the NRA to give the same talking point that you just gave.
Thanks.
They don't do it for their health. Why is it that they see the power of the citizens, but we as the citizens can't see it? The defeatist attitude, once again, I'm going to bring this up, is what they're banking on, because they know that if we ever figured out how powerful we are, they would, and we demand simple gun regulations in accordance with stricter sentencing for those who defy those regulations, i.e. you can't buy it at 18, you have to wait till 21, i.e. you have to have a mental test, i.e. you can't, you have to have a waiting list in order to get a certain rifle or a certain gun, i.e. the ban of automatic weapons. These things that could actually happen would make them lose money, and they know it. That's why it's worth it to them to spend millions to have us think differently. Because they will lose more than that if they don't. More than the millions that they spend. It's a very simple business principle. If you can spend a few $1 million to keep from losing potentially billions of dollars,
let's be for real.
You spend the mills.
It's $1 billion industry. So
King Ice, you're right. Harsher sentencing, that's fine. But without the extra gun laws that you have to sentence, which is what they did in New York, you're not going to see the drop. Let's say on the other account about the black market, let's say the guns are bought on the black market. That's okay. The ones who are buying the guns on the black market aren't killing kids in school. Those who can afford to buy it on the black market are the cartel people, and we can talk about drug laws another day and how to get that out of here. Those people are in drug wars and they fight those wars on the streets. Innocent bystanders may get got. But you'll take the entire number of people who die from guns a year from hundreds of thousands in America to 10,000. And is that not worth it to you? Because some people will buy it on the American market or on the black market? That's the craziest talking point I ever heard. Why not just make rape legal then? Well, there's always going to be some idiot who does it. There's always going to be an idiot who does rape. We make it illegal because we don't want to incentivize people to rape people. We destroy the gun laws as much as possible, or we make gun laws as much as possible to disincentivize the people who could have gotten it illegally, and then you deal with those who do the illegal things. It's a ridiculous argument. You can't have one without the other. You can't have stronger sentencing without stronger gun laws. That's first and foremost. Thank you, King Ice. And I know you're going to have a lot to say in the comments
too.
Okay, Dijon Martinez. This is the number 3. And I told you, this is going to take a while, y'all. Buckle up. Sit down. Get your drink ready. Cheers. Cheers. We here.
Roll you one up.
Go ahead, roll you one up. We here. We're not stopped talking yet. Guys, this is Dijon Martinez. Guys, thanks for the discussion, but honestly, in my humble opinion, the government is what today's black market is. Think about that. And the NRA is the militia made for war, and it's made for those who like the Second Amendment or can't fight hands. Case and look at what to Indians and a couple other races for mass control. Because the grammar was off, I'm not sure I got it right, but I'm gonna start this one if you don't mind. The Indians, if you're saying that it's another big conspiracy by the government and they if they take the guns, then they can't control us or they'll control us or whatever it is. Let me be honest with you. Another talking point made up by Fox News and therefore the representative of the Republican Party is that if we do anything about guns at all, even studying it, like they wanted to do in the CDC, to see if there's even a way possible to respond to the domestic threat of gun violence, if we do anything at all legislatively about guns, the next step is they will take our guns. And then we'll end up like the Indians.
Allow due process so that no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court.
The truth is, the Indians had guns. The same Indians with guns were sent blankets with smallpox to destroy their nations. And they did. They died out. The Trail of Tears. They had guns. All of them. They died out. All of it. I can't even go into it. The entire idea that I'm trying to tell you is taking your guns or not taking your guns has nothing to do with whether or not they want to hurt you. Being able to even study whether or not guns are hurting us or how to best get with the idea of helping them is outlawed by the NRA. If they send smallpox to your house, you're dying without or with your pistol. That has nothing to do with how the Indians died off or any other genocidal effect. None of it is because the people didn't have guns or did have guns. They got tanks, planes, missile launchers, nuclear freaking bombs. Your gun has nothing to do with whether or not the government wants to put a genocide on you. It's a common misconception. It's a common Republican talking point, and I debunk that, Dijon Martinez. But the results are, the more that the NRA buys the vote of letting every single gun possible to anybody who wants to have one, has been mass murder on a biblical freaking scale. Dijon Martinez, that's my response. Go ahead.
If the old policies in place haven't worked, then we need to, consider, at the very least, consider the new one.
Meaning what?
Well, I guess the laws that the NRA
have got passed.
Right.
Or, okay. Right. They're not working.
Said it has led to mass shootings and gun violence all across the country. And everybody knows. I'm proud of the people that tune in, and again, we salute y'all and we appreciate your comments because they're very timely. They're very on point. I can tell you guys that you research and do your homework, and you most of you are very intelligent. I was looking at the next set of comments that we have, and I don't want to skip past.
Go ahead, you got it,
Dijon. But it says Gaddafi Nunes. Mm-hmm. Gun violence took my pops out.
Damn.
Gun violence and mass shootings is more than the bought government officials. Agreed. We have a big problem in this country, and I would have voted for the first time if Sanders won.
We got to talk about that immediately.
Facts, though. The interests of the people is not a priority for Congress, right? The House of Representatives. And you know what? I'm going to touch on that in 1 second, which doesn't even represent us. The interests of government is putting money in their pockets. We know this already, so we need major change. That's the same thing I was just saying. We already know what's going on, what's going down. It's how we go about changing this. We need a revolution, break the chains, reformat. Look at other countries, Canada, Europe, study the laws, their society, look at what's working and what's not working. Change, education need to be free.
Gaddafi!
Maybe next topic, who wins with keeping society misinformed, uneducated? You guys are dope, put your IG up.
Gaddafi Nunes.
I like that. I agree with everything you said. Along down with the revolution and all of that. And I can definitely understand and why you feel so passionate about this particular subject. We appreciate your comments. What you think about it, Bruce?
Man, let me get specific. Gaddafi Nunes, because you deserve it. This is the last one for the day. We got James Simmons is coming. Cooley Hustle 400 is coming. But as far as this debate is concerned, it's the last one for the day, and I'm gonna get exactly my point. Gaddafi Nunes, because you've dealt with it on a personal level, it seems to me that you may have the most insightful response that I've seen. And what happens is when you say we need a revolution to break the chains, reformat, and look at other countries, Canada, Europe, this is the studying that I was saying the NRA won't allow. The CDC has put out the feelers, asked the government if they could get even $1 to see if there's even a way possible to respond to gun violence. They want to look at what has been done, Australia, Europe, Canada, the Netherlands, okay? Germany. All these places have gun laws and the gun violence is down, if not 100 times less than ours. How many people died last year in England because of guns? I think the answer was 1. Somebody said 0. I'll give them 1.
That's crazy.
No matter what they got a black market. They got drugs there. They got gangs there. Why don't you ask Stormzy? He'll tell you. This easy for them to say, well, we don't want guns. You cannot have a gun. They make it illegal and you go to jail if you have one. But the society is continuously misinformed and uneducated by the NRA. They paid for every one of the gun camps, every one of the scouts, every one of the people who stop laws and tell you that you're gonna get it off the black market if we do have the laws. Every one of the people that has said we need to get back automatic rifles, even though it was outlawed for about 15 years and it worked. It's them, people. It's not you, it's them. And if you think there's nothing you can do about it, you're wrong.
Facts though. And the interest of the people is not a priority for Congress, the House of and the House of Representatives, which doesn't even represent us. You were so on point with that, my man. I appreciate those comments. I couldn't have said it any better.
Facts.
In all actuality, they represent the business owners. They represent the retailers who's retailing those guns for the NRA. That's, and like I said, it's almost, it's plain to see, and you dead on with that. You dead on with that. I'm with it, man. To start the revolution, I tell Bruce all the time, if it's a cause that we need to stand up for, then let's stand up. Let's get it going.
Stand up is the key that we're trying to
educate. I'm definitely with that. I'm always an advocate of that. Educate ourselves.
People, wolf-pack.com. wolf-pack.com. This is the organization trying to get money out of politics. You're right. The reasons why our representatives don't represent us and Congress doesn't represent us is because they're paid off. We have a legal bribery system in the United States, and it got worse with Citizens United and the vote that now made it legal to give millions of dollars to anybody you want from a company was considered a human being.
By the way, we was with Bernie over on this side too.
Been with Bernie. The truth is, there are ways to fight back. It's not a conspiracy that you can't win. The truth is, those people that we don't want in office are paid by the NRA, and you can vote them out. First, you have to hit the streets. First, you have to make the Congress or the legislation in your local legislation write and develop laws and pass laws that work. In the meantime, go visit wolf-pack.com. In the meantime, go visit the justicedemocrats.com, who are putting primaries against all the people who take this type of money. We can win, unless you're a defeatist, unless you think there's nothing we can do. I have a problem with Gaddafi Nunes saying the first time you would have voted. Do you believe that if you had voted before for people who weren't making this the priority, killing Americans the priority, getting money from the NRA the priority, could it have been helped before? I'm not saying it's only you, but it's many people who think that there's nothing that they could have done. That attitude is what stopped you from voting.
Unless, of
until you saw
course,
Sanders.
this was your first time eligible to vote or whatever.
Facts. I could be wrong about that. In that case, slap me. It's all good. Listen, there's a way. It's called civil disobedience. It's called wolf-pack.com. It's called Justice Democrats. Go check out who these people are. And the fourth way is, if you don't see somebody worth electing, run. You can run. You're a citizen. Run and give your platform. That's all I gotta say. I hope I've answered everybody's question to the best of our ability.
We ran a little long today.
Oh, it was worth it.
We usually kick it about hip hop. I think this was necessary. We was actually responding to you guys' comments, and we appreciate every last one of them. As you see, we go through them and we read them. And sometimes we do shows where all we do is respond to them. We appreciate it. We appreciate the love as usual. Keep tuning in.
Gaddafi Nunez, Dijon Martinez, King Ice, and Bloods, Crips, and Essays, the web series. Thank you guys so much. James Simmons, thank you for your comment. I'm still trying to figure out what you meant by it. Give us some clarity. And Cooley Hustle 400 said Nipsey Hussle over Vince Staples. I feel you.
Facts. Those is big old facts right there. I try to tell them. They crazy. If y'all ain't tuned in, yo, go check that Nipsey, though. Vince is nice, too, though, in his own right, but Nipsey is what's going on right now. Go check it out.
Justice Democrats, The Basement. Holla at your boy, Biden Beats.
We out of here.
Peace.